Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today I'm going to talk about something that I think is absolutely vital when it comes down to working with some dogs, understanding some dogs, doing anything with some dogs. And that comes down to the idea of stop, there's a trainer I listen to, I really like his language. Stop bribing the dogs. Stop trying to coerce the dogs into doing something that you want them to do in a way that is very, very destructive. And one thing I'm going to say is very fascinating that today I just had to see it again. And I just watched this over and over again. That everything that the dogs are doing, I'm telling you, you're telling them to do it. Everything that the dog does. If the dog is digging, you're asking them to dig. If the dog is pulling, you're asking them to pull. If the dog is jumping all on you, you're asking the dog to jump all on you. If the dog is barking and going crazy at other dogs and other people and other kids and other animals, you're telling your dog to do that. You're telling them everything, and that's why they're doing it. And that's why it continues to keep on getting worse and worse and worse, where you think it's worse, but to the dog, it's actually getting, say, better because they're getting more efficient at making sure that things can, say, disappear faster and faster with what it is that you're telling them to do. So if you're telling a dog to bark at other dogs to get the dog out of here, your dog is going to look like a professional at it. He's going to look better than any of these sport competition trainers are able to do in any sort of way. Because for one, I'm going to say if your dog is looking crazy, I'm going to almost put it like this and say something straight up. Straight up, just the reality of it, people. Congratulations. Your dog really appreciates you. Your dog really loves you. Your dog really cares a lot about you. Your dog is just so in tune with you that it is an absolutely incredible bond that you have with your dog. And I'm going to say that, and it might confuse you a little bit because you're like, well, what the heck? My dog is doing stuff I don't like, so what's going on here? But it's the simple fact that if your dog is willing to go at the end of that leash and bark and bark and bark people away, you have like the biggest, bestest bond with your dog that anyone would just, I bet you your dog inside of your house is amazing with you. It is just the sweetest, most loving, most just thing that is just like, oh my goodness, I love my dog. But out there, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I'm gonna tell you, I just noticed that your dog is so sweet. Your dog is so affectionate. Your dog is so loving. Your dog just shows you so much. And you just look at him, you're just like, dude, I know you like me. So I'm not sure about everyone else and how the other people see their dogs, but I know you like me. You really, really like me. And that's something that is powerful for me to state because that is why your dog is willing every single day over and over to continue to keep on being at the end of the leash, lunging, barking, going savage, going crazy, going wild, and just doing all that. Hey, I'll give you some. Wait a second, homie. Wait. Hey, Oreo, we good. I got him. Oreo, get out of here. Get down. I got him. I'll take care of the donkey. I got control over the donkey, homie. I say don't treat train your dogs, but definitely treat train your donkey. And don't do this at home, please. If you don't have a great relationship with your donkey is gonna kick the crap out of you. It's not gonna feel good at all in any sort of way. But the donkeys are phenomenal animals to be able to do what it is that I need them to do. And what I need him, bit my thumb. What I need him to do is something that is absolutely incredible with the work I have him do out here for me. But that's got nothing to do with what I want to talk about with the concept and ideas of how absolutely incredible your dogs are. And that's why they're willing to do what it is they do. Whereas if you have the dog that is trying to run away, that is getting behind you, that is taking off, that is just going like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. That's where we really need to make sure that we can build up that relationship. So the main thing is, if your relationship is already good with your dog and it's already willing to go into battle for you, it's already willing to just go deep with trying to just really get everything out of here. I mean, it looks crazy, and not to the point that it looks crazy, but it will follow through with what it is that you're asking it to do. It will bite another dog. It will bite a person. It will bite a kid. It will. It just is. They're dogs, people. Just know that they're dogs, and that's something that they're capable of being able to do. And don't think that just because my dog is sweet with me behind closed doors, that it's going to be sweet like that with everyone when it's out there in public doing what it's doing. And that's something that I need a lot of us to really just sit here and understand that because your relationship is so good, your dog is going to do some absolutely crazy, savage looking stuff. And the main thing is you're telling it to do that. And once you're able to communicate to that dog that I no longer want you to do that anymore, that's when you're going to really start to see something absolutely, absolutely phenomenal start to happen. And that's where the one thing that I don't know what everyone calls it, but what I call it is leash confusion. Your dog is confused, people. Your dog thinks that when the pressure on that leash comes on, that they need to activate the turn on to go and do something. Whereas the opposite approach, this is why I'm going to say everything in dog training is backwards. And this is one thing that I know for a 100% fact is backwards. Because when that leash pressure comes on that dog now thinks I need to do something as opposed to do nothing. When the leash pressure comes on, the dog should know. I don't care what's on the dog. The harness, the martingale, the slip leash, the prong. I don't care what's on the dog. But the dog should know when pressure is put upon the dog, on the body in any sort of way, it's got pressure on it. Like it's got something added that just wasn't there before. The dog needs to have a very, very good understanding of realizing that that pressure means to stop doing what it is that they're doing, as opposed to doing and continue to keep on pushing forward with what it is that they're doing. Again, all this stuff is a progression. The dog just doesn't one day have a leash on and one day it's just yelling at the entire world. It's something that is added and added and added on to that dog to be able to do that. Even dogs that come from the shelter that did it and they come to you brand new, they're gonna assume, and I hate to put this on a dog and say it like this, but I've just seen this over and over. They're gonna assume that you're not gonna do the same stuff that the other people did, because that's why they're no longer with them anymore. They're just like, I want to do better this time so that I don't end up back in this shelter situation. Now I don't have to go to another new house again. I don't have to do any of this stuff. So the dog is going to try to do something different. And that's where people call it the honeymoon stage. The dog looks so good, it looks so great. Yeah, because it's like, I want to be able to stay here. Dogs are smart people. They're not that stupid. They want to stay in the situation that they're in. They don't want to have to get abandoned and get left and end up in a sticky situation and end up anywhere. So the main thing is, the dog needs to understand what that leash means. What's going on with that leash? And that's for us to teach that dog what that means. And I'm telling you, if a dog is still continuously pulling, plunging, barking, doing, it's because you are telling it to do that. And once we get that in our brains, once we understand that, once we sit on that, sleep on that, eat a couple meals with that, hang out, chill, and live, and get in this world, understand that that's just what it is, we're gonna start to see our dogs get better, literally overnight. Because you're gonna have to sit down and say to yourself, man, this guy keeps saying it is. It's my fault for what it is that my dog is doing. It's my fault. It's what I got going on. It's what I'm doing. It's me making him do that. And I'm gonna say to you, yes, 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 and yes, and yes. And once we have that information, we're able to do something very, very powerful with it. We're able to change the situation now. We're able to make it to get to what it is that we're actually looking for. So that comes down to us having self-reflection of realizing that I must be doing something. Hey, Brownie, I'll give them to you. You wait, buddy. You gotta have the same impulse control my dogs have. All y'all are capable of this. All these animals, we can train the exact same ways. It's very fascinating that I train my cows the same way I train my dogs. I train my donkey the same way I train my dogs. I train everything. Oreo, we good. Come here. I'll get him out. Watch. Johnny, get down. Oreo. Watch, I'll get him out of there. Come here. Get down. Watch, I got him. I'm good with this donkey. Me and my donkey got a good relationship. You help me with him out. The main thing is we need to change what it is that we're doing. So we need to teach the dog. And this is the part where a lot of y'all get confused. I just stand to be neutral. How long do I just stand to be neutral for to get to the point that now I gotta actually do something? I gotta make something happen. I gotta tell the dog no. The main thing is the dog needs to know what that loose leash means. Means do nothing. Pressure on the leash means do something different. Please stop what you're doing so that you can go back into doing nothing that I'm looking for, that I'm desiring. And you have to continuously keep doing that until the dog understands all on its own. Not with you having to yank or do anything, but no, when the dog goes to the end of, I'll give you the food, homie. I feel you. You being pushy. All y'all, where are y'all going? Brownie, you can go eat. Oreo, you can come back. Johnny, you can get down. Oreo, you can come here. Actually, you're good there. Brownie. Johnny, you ain't eating that. Brownie, I got you right here, homie. Come on. Johnny, get out of here. You're not gonna get that food from him. He gonna take it from you, I guarantee. Johnny, get down. If y'all ain't working with more animals than just a dog, I'm telling you, you're missing out in life. And there's so much out here in this life that is absolutely phenomenal that I hope to not only just be able to speak to you about some dogs, but be able to inspire you to just want to get up and do something. Get up and go somewhere. Get up and make something happen. Get up and just have a change of life. That I'm just consistently seeing the same stuff every day, playing the same games, doing the same stuff, but get up and like experience life. Just come out here and just smack a donkey's ass and just see what happens and see what goes down. Make sure you got some place to be able to run away. But it's exciting to be out here to do what it is that I do, because it teaches me more about everything that goes on with all of these animals. And the main thing is, again, you have to stand and be neutral. You got to stand and chill. You got to stand and be. You got to stand and hang out so that the dog understands what that loose means. And then when that leash starts to get tight, that leash gets tight, That dog needs to, on its own, feel tightness. I do not care what's on the dog. A harness, I know a lot of y'all are just so against all these tools, all this equipment, and I just need to get some different dogs so that I can teach that this works. Just me, I want to teach it faster. That's why I use a slip leash. It's because I want to be able to explain to the animal really fast, really precise, really just simply and easily to be able to give the dog what it is that I need, as opposed to just hit or miss and I'm not sure and I don't know. I just like to be very, very clear. And I can have very, very clear communication with a simple slip leash, a simple $10, $20 leash. I don't need anything fancy, anything much. I mean, I've seen a guy use just a cord or a rope or something. I don't care. Anything works. It's just put it on the dog and get the dog to understand. When the dog's leash gets tight, it needs to, without you pulling, without you doing anything. But the dog is just, you're just standing and the dog starts to leave you a little bit and the dog starts to feel tightness. He's like, what's going on? The dog needs on its own say, oh, let me come back to you. Now we're in the good stages of what do we do next? Because the dog's always going to have to need to know what to do next after you're just hanging out. It's like, well, what are my expectations now? I learned that I have to stay around you. I learned that that's what you're looking for. But when I see that, now what? When I see that, when I go over there, when this happens, when this comes up, when this is going on, now what's going on? Now what's going to happen? So the main thing is you need to stay neutral. The dog needs to feel tight on that leash. And the dog needs to know, hey, I have to do something different on its own without you pulling it back, without you saying any words, with nothing, with the dog just coming to you. When the dog comes to you, now, when you see dog, that's when I use leash pressure, where I add pressure to the leash pressure. So the dog is gonna pull into it, I'm gonna pull back from it. That's when the dog is gonna like, oh, okay, you clearly do not want me to engage with that. You clearly want me to do what now? Oh yeah, come back here and be neutral again. That's what the language you're gonna start giving to the dog. And this is where the confusion is just going on. That I'm telling you, if it's getting worse and worse and worse, it's because the dog doesn't understand what pressure is on the leash. And I don't know why there's only a certain part of the trainers out here that talk about leash pressure, and it's pressure with anything that you put. I don't care if it's a treat pressure. When you're putting pressure on, it's treats as well as pressure. If you're using a toy, its toy is on, is pressure. Leash, prong collar, e-collar, slip leash, martingales, harnesses, I don't care what you put on the dog or what you're doing. Anything that you're adding is pressure. We need to take the pressure away. We need to get the pressure gone. We need to make sure that the pressure just disappears. And that's when the dog is going to understand, okay, this is what you want. Because when you're constantly adding things, the dog is just, what's going on? So then we have to take it away. So when the dog starts to put the pressure upon its own self, the dog goes at the end of the leash on its own self and it comes back on its own self. It's learning what its boundaries are, what its limitations are, what its rules are, what's going on this planet. It's no longer just in some free-for-all. It knows that there's something with this pressure. This pressure is happening. I need to do something different to get this pressure to go away. And the main thing is your dogs are primed right now to feel pressure to think, let's go. Let's go, let's go. That's why you're walking, I get it. You see someone else, you see a wild dog, you want to grab up your leash. But your dog should know that when you grab up on that leash, that actually means to do nothing. That doesn't mean to react, activate, get in it, make this business happen, start to do something. That means to chill out. That means to stop. That means to disengage. That means to look the other way. That means to just quit, as opposed to triggering them to activate to, I'm gonna flip out now too. That's where we're having confusion, is leash confusion. I don't know what people call it. That's just what I call it. I've been calling that for a couple years now, and it just works because it is what it is. The dog doesn't know what the heck is going on. It's not no barrier frustration. It's not no overexcitement. No, it's confusion. The dog is seriously, literally just confused. And if I'm telling you, if the dog is willing to go at the end of that leash and bark people away, your relationship is already pretty darn good because the dog is willing to go to battle for you. Your dog is willing to do something. No, we're good. She's good. Get down. The dog is willing to go and make some action happen for you. And that even the dog, most dogs are terrified and they're still willing to go out there and do it for you. That is impressive. That is just, that shows how much your dog is willing to die for you in reality in a way. It doesn't know. That dog tries to run up and try to chase this donkey. Your dog is willing to go to die for you, to try to get that threat away that it thinks that is a threat to you. That is something that we utilize to use to be able to get our dogs in a better place. And the thing is, we need to teach them that pressure means we no longer want you doing anything. No pressure means you're doing everything that I'm looking for you to do. So pressure on means no. Pressure off means yes. I don't need to verbally say that. I don't need to say anything out of my mouth. I don't need to have any trickaroos or slippy dippers and try to throw a treat and get to this and do to this. I don't need to do any of that. Other than just when that pressure is off, that means you must be doing what it is I'm looking for. And this here is a time that when the dog just finally chills and hangs out with you, When the dog is finally not going every 10 seconds, it's just going, coming back, going, and it's finally just hanging out with you for a minute or 3. A minute is a long time when your dog is reactive to other dogs. And a minute feels like 5 hours when you're in the thick of it. But when your dog is finally there for a minute, that's the moment that I give that dog a treat. If you want to use the treats and go that route and think that that's the only way to do it. You do not try to get the dog to get away from looking at what it's doing, to come back to you, then give it a treat. No, you wait till it's chill. When the dog is relaxed, when the dog is hanging out. Like me giving a treat to this dog right here, right now would be the wrong moment because he's engaged. He's activated. He's like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Oreo. All done. I'm going to get you. I'm going to stay on top of you. I'm going to watch you. That's a wrong time to give him a treat because he's going to get confused. He's going to be so confused. He's going to say, well, you're giving me the treat for looking, for being on edge, being on guard. So that means you want me to be on guard. No, I want you to be at the point that you're absolutely just hanging out, laying over, laying on your side, way back, just not engaged at all. Now I'll give you a treat. Now I'll give you a treat. Now I'll give you a treat. Now I keep doing that over and over right there. And then once the dog starts to get a little like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, I'm going to completely ignore that animal again and say, I don't know what you doing. I don't know what's happening with you, but I am not paying attention to that at all. The dog goes, that leash gets tight. He's going to know, okay, something's going on. What should I do? Come back to me and stop being engaged. And that's when a dog is going to start to understand what that pressure means. Stop giving a dog pressure of giving it a treat when it's engaged looking at another dog. That is going to confuse them. Stop giving a dog pressure. Look at this toy when he's engaged in something. Stop giving a dog pressure of trying to grab him and grab his little head and try to force him to turn around. Stop giving a dog pressure by pulling on the leash to pull him back to you. Stop giving a dog pressure of doing anything and hoo-ha's and look over here and snapping and clapping and hoorahing and whistling and doing anything. Stop giving a dog pressure when that leash is tight. When that leash is tight, please just let the dog get out of that. Let them stop on their own. And once they stop on their own, you're going to see a significant change start to happen because the dog is going to understand this pressure means that I'm doing something that they don't want me to do, as opposed to this pressure means that they want me to keep doing this. And that's why the dogs just keep getting worse and worse instead of getting better. They do not know what's expected. And I'm telling you, once you see that your dog is able to come out of that pressure over faster and faster without you having to do anything, without you having to say anything. Again, treats are amazing, but they need to be used in the correct way. And the thing is, we're using them in the incorrect way. We're using them when the dog is engaged, trying to manipulate and coerce the dog and to bribe the dog into like, please look at me instead, please look at me. And it's confusing the heck out of the dog. Dogs are nowhere near as intelligent as us as human beings. And we're trying to treat them as if they are. And they're never gonna be. They're gonna be smart, but they're never, ever, ever, I don't care how far they evolve, they're just not gonna be us as humans. We are incredible at what we do. I mean, I'm just watching this 18-wheel truck semi drive down right here. A dog is never gonna be able to create something as impressive as something that we just see all day, every day as normal. That's just average. That's just what it is. A dog is never gonna do such a thing. But we're trying to treat them and train them as if they are that smart, and they're just not. Stop trying to get the dogs out. Stop using pressure. You added anything. Be completely neutral and do nothing when the dog is in this hyper aroused, going anxious, going wild state. Just chill out. Just hang back. Just relax. Just wait. And then the dog is going to get out of it. Once the dog gets out of it, it comes to you. It shows you affection. It shows you attention. It shows you any sort of feedback. That's the moment that you look at him and say, hey, good job. Good job. You just do that at first. Good job. And then when the dog is able to do that and stay in that consistently with you, I'm saying it's only a minute. You don't need to be here for the 5 hours. If the dog just stays for one solid, steady minute, when it's in the middle of the thick of it, and it's just going crazy, and it stays, that's the time that I look at him and say, hey, you've been hanging out for a while. Treat, buddy. You can have a treat. You can have another treat. You can have another treat. And that dog is going to want to stay in that relaxed state to continue to keep getting that treat, as opposed to thinking, being confused in any sort of way, that if I'm excited, I get a treat as well. No, when you are calm, when you are chill, that's the only time you get a treat. You never, ever get a treat from me again if you're in an excitable state. If that tail is wagging like crazy, you don't get treats from me no more, buddy. That's done. You get treats when you just calm. You come up to me and you just look at me with those little pretty eyes. It's like, hi. That's what, oh, treat, treat, treat. This is the confusion that's going on. Because the dogs think that they are doing what it is that you're telling them to do. And when the dog, and you give them a treat, while they're doing what you're doing, while the pressure of the leash is on, the dog is only going to just keep on amplifying it, just keep getting harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and harder and crazy and wild and savage. And the reasons the dog keeps getting crazy and wilder and more savage is because the dog really, really cares about you a lot. And that's the only reason that would. Otherwise, the dog is just going to look the other way and just not even care. It's not going to care at all, because you're telling it to do something that is too much for it. And then here, this is the part where it gets really, really interesting, because once you convince that dog that you no longer need to go to battle for me like that, the dog is going to look at you with even more appreciation. The dog is going to give you even more affection that you ever even noticed before. You're going to tell your dog, it's okay, I'll handle it. I got the dangers for you. I don't need you doing that for me no more. I'll take care of it. You are now going to see your dog just transform. You're going to watch your dog literally in minutes, its face go from this like high, like crazy look to just chill. You're going to watch your dog lose like so many years worth of life on getting younger again, because it's going to be able to relax. It's going to be able to hang out. It's going to be able to just look at the world as a puppy again, as it's great. It's amazing. There's no dangers. There's no threats. There's no nothing. It's just a peaceful place to be. And that's something that, again, the same way with us as human beings, need to continuously think about that with our own selves on this planet. Stop putting all this extra pressure, this extra stress. Like, you got to do this and you got to that. You can't handle it all, man. Just hang out, just chill. That pressure comes on, maybe you need to get back to where it was, where things were doing all right for you, as opposed to like trying to keep fighting into that pressure. Someone out there is trying to bring that to you. Maybe you need to get rid of that. Get that the heck out of here, because it's not helping you in any sort of way. It's destroying your life more and more every single day that you're putting yourself in it. All this stuff works with everything in life, and everything in life that is growing, that is being, that is doing what it's doing, all lives by these same rules out here. When that pressure comes on, that means not to keep pushing and getting into it. That means that you need to maybe do something a little different right now, because this isn't working right. As opposed to us thinking like, oh, we're just gonna dig deep. So many people out here that'll say that with business stuff. Oh, that's why you're not a multi-millionaire, because you don't fight into the pressure. It's like, no, not everybody for one wants that. And not everyone sees that pressure and is that desiring of like, I want to get into that. I want to go to that battle. No, most of us just want to have a good life, man. We just want to be able to take care of what we want to take care of. We just want to be able to do what we need to do. We just want to be able to live a life to be able to help as many people out as possible, without feeling like I need to put that pressure on to force you to do something so that now I can be able to feel better. No, I just want to help you out. I see you struggling. I see you doing. I just want to be able to, I got you, man. No problem. You hungry? Let me feed you, man. You thirsty? Let's go get you some water, man. You don't know where you're sleeping tonight? Let me figure that out for you tonight, man. Like, that's the life that majority of us want to live. And the majority of us, I know for a fact, want to live that way, based on what I see what's going on with your dogs. And it's something that is so simple for us, but it's not easy. The simple things are, for whatever reason, the hardest things on this planet to do. But the main thing is, you need to start realizing that everything that's happening is because of the language that you're saying to that dog. Stop allowing your dog to be confused with leash pressure. Pressure, not just leash pressure, but pressure of treats and toys. I'm telling you, all this stuff is the same. We want to go to science. Science states that us verbally saying no to our dog is more damaging than us using a prong, an e-collar, any of these things. So if that's the case, that means that a more purely positive way of saying no to the dog is more harsh, more damaging to the dog than you using an e-collar on 100 and just blasting a dog and telling it no. So there's something behind that we should really be paying more and more attention to, of realizing how powerful our words, our language, our being is to these dogs. So that when the dog is doing something that it is doing that you don't want it to do, you need to really think hard about making sure that you are doing what you're thinking about, what you're saying. Hey, buddy. I don't like it when he backs up to me. It's a little scary. He's kicked me once, but it didn't hurt as bad as I thought it would. But I think that he was being gentle. He wasn't being too rough with me. You good, buddy? He's such a good boy. Or get down. We good. My homie's good with me. That's why I love me a border collie. They're good protection animals. But the main thing is, have a good understanding of realizing that when your dog is fixated on something, stop applying pressure and just stay neutral. Once your dog is able to stay neutral, then apply the treats, then apply the praise, then apply it, but not right away. Don't have the dog get out of it and instantly in 2 seconds, like, oh yeah, good boy. No, wait, because the dog is still in it. The dog didn't recover that fast. You'll get to the point that the dog is able to recover faster and faster and faster. But up front, The dog was just barking at something. Don't just like, it's the second it stops, like, oh yeah, good. No, wait. Wait until we are completely calm, completely chill, completely laid back, completely just hanging out. And then look at the dog. Wow, good job, man. Good job, good job, good job. And at first, keep yourself neutral with it. Not like, oh my God, good job, yeah. Because you don't want to amp the dog up. Because as soon as you amp the dog up, it's going to make it go right back into doing what it was doing. Just chill. Good job, man. Good. I like this. This is nice. This looks real good. This looks real good. This looks really nice. And the dog is going to stay in there. I'm telling you, that's just how simple the dogs are. That's how simple that all animals are. I train and teach this donkey to do the same stuff that same exact way. When he's around me and he's hanging out, I give him treats. But when he's all like going crazy, I'm just like, I don't know who the heck you are, buddy. Or down, we good. We good. All done. Get down. And that's the same way I work the same way I work with my cows. That's how I can hand feed my cows and be able to do what I need to do with them. Because when they're being too pushy, I use him actually to push them away because they get a little pushy. They have too much weight than this donkey. But I put the pressure on. The pressure comes on, he's like, I need to do something different. Okay, and now I'm calm? Calm. You're calm? I could keep giving you treat after treat after treat after treat after treat. You see this? He knows. He knows the same motion that I use with the dogs. Treat after treat after treat after treat. Now, because you're calm, you're there, you're presenting yourself pretty, you're being nice, I can give you treats. But as soon as you start getting a little pushy, you start to try to get in my space, you're trying to evade all on me, you're trying to bark and get everything out of here, now I'm going to have to do something. Now I'm not going to be able to give you those treats. Now I'm going to have to hold that back in a way of making you just get back to super calm and super chill again. These methods work on pretty much everything that I've worked with out here. And that's why I realized for 100% fact that it's us that's putting the confusion out there to the animals. It's us that's doing that. It's not the animal. It's not a bad dog. It's not a bad, I mean, there's some. There's a very rare, but there's some that are just weird. But they're nice animals and they want to do for us. I mean, every animal out here I've seen, they want to do for us. That's why I'm fascinated getting into birds and things. They say, oh no, they don't like us and that's why it's hard to train them. But I'm going to guarantee you, you give that animal a good home, a safe home, a place where it has consistent food, doesn't have to fight for it, beg for it, defend for it, it got easy water, easy everything. It's gonna have no choice but to build a bond with you that's gonna be absolutely incredible. It's gonna be so strong that it's gonna like, whatever you want, man, I'll do for you. Because that's what animals are all about on this planet. And that's why the more we live on this planet, the more everything is going to be domesticated. There's not going to be coyotes anymore that are crazy. There's not going to be lions out there that are crazy because we're starting to get them closer to us and start to integrate them to us. And I don't know if you noticed this, but donkeys, I don't know why, but they act so similar to how dogs are. They're just absolutely fantastic, phenomenal animals that they have the same little things that dogs do, which is so cute. And since I've been doing all the same methods with everything out here, I've come to realize that animals are just animals, people. Some are a little bit smarter than others, but animals are animals at the end of the day. And just think hard about the fact that what your animal is doing is what you're asking the animal to do. And once you decide to make that change of realizing that I want to do something different now, that animal's going to finally change. Thank you. Look at this donkey. He's like, maybe if I flip it a few times, some more food will show up.